Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the Go On Fourth YouTube channel. Amani and I are back. We are here with our betting guide video for week 4 of the NFL season. We are also here with some college football picks to start us off. Amani has his 5. It's 5, right? You got 5 this week again?
I have four spread, and then I have my dog, which
Okay.
we didn't do it last week, but the week before, James Madison. Anybody out there that bet on James Madison, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Hey, you owe us money. We'll drop our cash app in the chat. $5. $5 for each of us. All right. All right. So what's going with your first pick?
We will start at the University of Georgia. They are a 30-point favorite against Auburn this week. I think that is absolutely incredible.
Outrageous.
Given how Georgia has played, the Auburn front is pretty physical. They're pretty athletic. I think that they will, Georgia obviously will win this game. They'll win this game comfortably.
Yes.
Richie Ashford hasn't looked terrible. I think if they can score 10 points, I think they'll be able to cover this 30-point spread.
Yeah.
So, laying the points down, it's a big spread, but give me Auburn plus 30 on the road against Georgia. Yeah, that's my first pick.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen the spreads, any of the spreads for this week. So, yeah, that 30-point spread is madness. That's crazy. That's a huge spread in a rivalry game, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you know how close Alabama and Auburn games always seem to be. Like I know the Georgia Auburn game is a little bit different. Like it does tend to blow out a little bit more often, but dude, that's a lot. That's a lot of points in a rivalry game. That's crazy. All right, well, what's your second pick?
I love Ohio State minus 25 and a half. Get that. I don't see a world where this game isn't a 38-point blowout. The Ohio State offense is clicking. Travion Henderson is even coming back this week. They're adding, another weapon. I doubt that Smith and Jigba will play. It doesn't really make any sense. This is a better Ohio State team than last year, and obviously this is a far worse Michigan State team than last season. And that game was 56-7. I just kind of see much of the same happening. Michigan State can't stop a nosebleed. You know, 25 is safe if you can all spread this out to 37 and a half. I would challenge you to do so because this is going to get ugly quick.
Well, the thing about Ohio State too is they don't really take their foot off the gas against anybody. Like they really just want to fucking score points, and I respect that about them. As much as I think they're farmers just farming like crazy stat lines and shit. Like I do respect the fact that they just beat teams into the mud. So I'm kind of with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, pick number 3.
I got Iowa State +2 against Kansas State. I kind of think Kansas State, they've been playing a little bit over their heads right now. Adrian Martinez, he's hitting these big runs, every single week. They are playing good football outside of the Tulane loss. But I think this playing a defensive-minded coach like Matt Campbell, he will tighten the screws on that, especially in the running game. Decker's the quarterback at Iowa State is no slouch. I think they will be able to put up, enough points, and I think they will win the game outright. But if you want to be safe, take the +2. I got it like 24-17 ish. Iowa State in this game.
Gotcha. All right. By the way, before you reveal your 4th game, I will say, as a Bama homer, right? I would be remiss, and I don't bet on Alabama games very often. But that 23.5 point spread is looking real juicy to me. If Bryce Young plays, man, we are going to smack Texas A&M up and down the fucking field. We owe them from last year for 1. We owe Jimbo for all the comments he made for 2. Yeah, if you think that the players at Bama don't have Saban's back, just watch this fucking football game because we are going to stomp Texas A&M into the ground. That's going to be a brutal game. We're going to beat them by 31 points. So if you want to bet us, this is the week to do it. Don't bet us against UL Lafayette minus 50 and a half. All right, bet us this week against a team that we actually want to beat the shit out of, and we're going to. All right.
Yeah.
Number 4.
I do. Number 4, Florida State against NC State. Last week was a tough game for Florida State. They played Wake Forest, who I think is one of 12 best teams in the country.
Yeah, they look good.
Was bonkers.
Yeah.
They had it right there at the
Should have
end.
won.
Yeah, exactly. Should have won. I mean, in Clemson, obviously they look damn good. They look like they're back to their their normal selves. So I don't take much stock into losing. The Wake Forest last week. The pollsters dropped Florida State out of the polls. I think that's a little bit premature.
Mhm.
So this week I'm going to roll with Florida State. +3, +3.5, whatever you can get. Around that market. I personally think they win the game outright. I don't think NC State's very good. I like Florida State secondary. I think in the second half they played a very good game against Wake. First half was a little rough, allowed some explosives, but second half they tightened the screws a little bit and they almost there. They cut it to 7, and Sam Hartman threw a very blind pass that should have been intercepted and maybe 4-6 to tie the game, but it ended up as a completion to A.T. Perry that really kind of decided the game there in the second half. So I think this is a pretty good Florida State team. I think going on the road will be no challenge. I don't think Raleigh, North Carolina is this is Bryant Denny
Sanctuary,
Stadium.
right? No, it's not.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't have much faith in that NC State offense. I don't think they're very good at all. I make my rankings every week, and they're usually kind of in the 20 to 25 range. I think Florida State will kind of prove me right here. I think they'll win the game outright, but taking +3.
Okay. Well, you've taken two underdogs, so I'm interested to hear your underdog pick since you've got two underdogs already.
Underdog of the week. I believe this game is at 11 p.m. or
Oh my.
10:30. Pac-12 after dark.
Oof.
We are going to roll with the Fighting David Shaws. I said we were watching the game last week. This is really a pride pick for me. I said that they would beat Oregon State this week. I think Tanner McKee this is a capable winning game for him this week. It's gonna be 25 people in the stands, a very weird atmosphere. Chase Nolan is very prone to throwing interceptions, or Oregon State quarterback. Stanford has a couple of solid defensive backs. Kylu Blue, he should have. I'm predicting him to have an interception in this game. I just think Stanford, they pull out a game that they probably should win once a year, and this is probably the game. 7-point dogs. I like them to win outright, +225. Smack it on the money line. Put everything you have on it, and once it wins, just go ahead and just go ahead and give me something. Just a little.
Give us a little kickback. A little kickback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. So, see, like I scroll through these and I see some of these lines are just crazy to me. Like first of all, the TCU Kansas line is wild because I think TCU is going to handle Kansas. The Tennessee LSU line is wild. I think Tennessee is going to handle LSU.
Yeah, the trap right there, man.
It might be. It might be a trap. It could be.
I hate seeing that as a Vols supporter. I love them, in the preseason. I thought they would be really good. Here they are in top 10, and I don't like seeing them as 2.5-point favorites against a not that good LSU team. Makes me worry that we're not going to have a top 10 matchup next week at Neyland.
Might not. I would be fine with B. All right, we're looking at Indianapolis and Denver to start off the NFL week. These are two teams that haven't really hit their stride in terms of their offensive production, in terms of their the way that they play. I will say traditionally, Thursday night games typically hit the under way more than they hit the over. That's just kind of a traditional betting sense with Thursday night games that just typically don't hit the over very much. This is a game that I could see as a sneaky over, depending on how this game goes in terms of the game script. But it's hard to say that because Denver's offense is so slow. Indianapolis's offense is not very good, especially if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play on a short week coming off an ankle injury. I like the Broncos -3, and I like them to the point that I actually might bet the Thursday night game. I usually don't bet the Thursday night game because I don't like the games mostly, but I actually might bet this one -3. I like Denver this week.
That's crazy.
No way. No shot.
I like the Indianapolis Colts to win this game outright.
What?
I think that the Broncos are soft up front. I think this is fine. This is like Stephen A. Smith. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. This is exactly what they've been waiting for. A team that they can just blow off the ball. I don't really care who's that running back for them. It could be Naeem Hines. It could be the ghost of Joseph Adai. I don't care. I think the running game, they will have a very good game on the ground. I think it'll open up, some plays downfield, and they just have to hit a couple of them. Michael Pittman. I don't if he's playing. I'm not really
Yeah,
too
Michael
sure.
Pittman's playing. Michael Pittman's playing, but he's going to be in hell. You got to remember who he's facing off against. He's in hell this week, so that's why I like Denver, dude. Because Michael Pittman's going to be in hell. Patrick Surtain is going to put him in hell this week. He is going to have him in a straight jacket.
I think those USC receivers have some of those Alabama DBs.
No, relax. I'm telling you, man, Surtain is going to have Michael Pittman in an absolute straight jacket.
That's fine. That means Jeff Janis 2.0 is going to come alive.
Might need to be an Alec Pierce day. I just don't see it, man. I don't think the Colts defense is very good. Even without Javonte Williams, I think putting in Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon, if you could, in the longest yard where Tim McGraw duct tapes the fullback's the ball to his hands, that's what needs to happen to Melvin Gordon, right? Melvin Gordon needs that ball duct taped to his hands. Hold on to the football, son. Like that's Melvin Gordon needs to hold on to the fucking ball, right? If Melvin Gordon holds on to the football, Denver Broncos win this game comfortably. I think by 7. I like -3. And we'll agree to disagree on that one. I like that. Yeah. Giants and Packers. Dude, honestly, this is like not a game that I would want to bet on at all. Ever, like for any reason. I don't like the game total. I think it's probably about where it needs to be. I would almost want to bet the under, just because the Giants have some question marks at quarterback. But the Packers have been bad against the run. Giants have been able to run the ball successfully. I almost like Giants +8, but I would almost like alt spread that to 10.5 just to be really safe. If you're gonna like parlay it with something else, maybe put it in a teaser. I kind of like the Giants. I don't think they get blown out necessarily. Oh, is it a London game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I like the Giants then. I like the Giants +8. I really do, but I would alt spread it to +10.5 just to be safe. I don't love the +8 number, but I do like 10.5.
Yeah, I just got a text message from a reliable source that Aaron Rodgers is going to be using some really good stuff out there in London.
Substances, yeah.
Yeah, he has a nice supplier. But in all seriousness, I hate this game. I hate Green Bay.
I hate them too.
they don't cover when they're supposed to. Like they should win this game. Plus, it won't happen. But I don't want to take Giants +8 because this is a game where now that we talked about last week, not waking up for that. I'll probably
Nobody's waking up for this. Nobody's waking up for this shit.
I am a sicko, and I'll probably watch every snap of this, but I won't be happy. I'll have my arms folded and I'll be eating my my baked beans and my toast.
Yeah, your English breakfast, right?
Yeah, exactly. English breakfast.
Yeah, English.
Oh, I won't be very.
Sure. Nah. I don't think. I think we need to stop disrespecting the whole country of England. They have great football matches every week. You know what I mean? Like they have Premier League football action. They have Champions League ball. They don't need this shit. Like don't disrespect the great country of England with American egg ball when it's the Giants and the Packers, dude. Like that is such a shit bowl game to send over there. That is so rude. Stop sending bad games to those poor people. If they want to watch some egg ball, dude, at least give them some good egg ball to watch, please, for God's sake. Send Steelers and Bills over there. Like, fuck it. Like, it's not even a great game, but, like, at least they get to watch the Bills play offense. That might get some people involved in, like, invested and interested in football. They're not going to be interested watching A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers run the clock to 1 before they snap it, and Daniel Jones on a gimpy ankle turn around and hand it to Saquon 38 times. They're not going to be interested in that. That's not fun. All right? Send them a Lions game. Send the Lions out there. That would be a...
Well, to be fair, they do watch a lot of games that don't involve scoring. So
sure. Maybe they'll like that. I don't know. I doubt it. I like the Giants +10.5 if you can get it. Alt spread it. I don't like 8, but I do like 10.5. Seattle, New Orleans. Again, this one just feels like a game that I don't want to bet on at all. I don't want any piece of this game because it's almost just like too weird to even guess what's going to happen. Seattle's defense is bad. New Orleans' offense is bad. New Orleans' defense is good. Seattle's offense is pretty good. So it's kind of just like something's got to give here. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't like the 5.5 number. I think I would rather have Seattle +5.5 than New Orleans -5.5.
Yeah. So when Seattle played the Niners, and I would gather that obviously Niners defense is better, but the Saints, their defense is damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really see anybody like Justin Jefferson. DK Metcalf's, he's a good receiver, and obviously, so I like it. They're good.
Yeah.
They're not Justin Jefferson. I
Will
can
Disley as
see,
well.
yeah,
Missed
yeah.
your
I can
touchdown,
see,
yeah. Go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
I can see Marshawn Lattimore just taking one of them away, and kind of just like the Niner game, just really struggling. It's going to sound weird. They just scored 48 points, but I really, I don't I see. I want to take the under because I feel like New Orleans is going to play slow, but that Seattle defense is not good at all.
Yeah.
And if you can bet something here, bet Chris Olave to score a touchdown. All right,
Yeah, I like Olave's yards. Whatever his yards prop is, if it's around like 50 or 60, I would take that for sure. Um, I think the Saints are probably gonna have to throw the ball a good bit, just because who knows what that backfield looks like. If Kamara can't go, it's Mark Ingram and then the like you said earlier, maybe like the ghost of Deuce McAllister. I don't really know, but it's gonna be Mark Ingram and then. He's Mark Ingram the second, so maybe Mark Ingram the third can get back there and take a couple handoffs too, because I don't know who else they got back there. Yeah, I like Seattle plus 5.5. Again, maybe alt spread at the plus 7.5 to be safe, but I would prefer Seattle over New Orleans. And again, it might just be like a momentum thing and just kind of the way that these teams are playing. I like the way Seattle's playing a lot more than I like the way New Orleans is playing. I think that Seattle's moving in the right direction and New Orleans is kind of stagnant. So I do like Seattle in terms of a momentum narrative going into the game. Uh, Next game is Steelers-Bills, man. This one feels like an over to me. I know it's kind of weird because the Steelers' defense is not bad per se, but they didn't look great against Zach Wilson in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen is going to have a bounce back game from his kind of lackluster performance last week, I think. And I think that the Steelers against the Bills secondary that's still pretty banged up, I think Kenny Pickett's going to be able to move the football. Like, I really like the over. I don't know about the spread. 14 seems like a lot for an NFL team. And I don't think Kenny Pickett played bad enough to deserve a 14-point spread in his first start. But again, it's hard to take Steelers points, even if it is 14. It's still kind of tough because you really don't know what that offense is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, but my goodness, 14 points. And
I know, NFL, yeah.
Mike Tomlin had Josh Allen in absolute hell last season when they played week 1. Defensively, I think they will show up if they can move the chains on offense, get some first downs, and they don't leave that defense out there, hanging them out to dry, by not getting first downs, not moving chains, leaving them out on the field all game.
You mean don't leave them out there for 90 plays?
Yeah, exace.
That is the recipe to beat the Bills, though.
Right. But
I mean,
with how they play, I don't know. They do run a lot of umbrella type coverage, and they will, force them to check it down. I think 14 is a lot. I think they will be able to hit some explosive plays in the passing game. Call me crazy. I don't think that this will really be a blowout. I think this will be within striking range for the Steelers once they hit the fourth quarter. Now the Bills probably pull away, win by 10 or 13 or so. But I just can't. I just don't see a world where the Steelers just go there and just get blown out. Because I know Mike Tomlin, he has a lot of pride. I know they will be playing hard as hell this week. This is a damn big game, and they just don't really get embarrassed in big games. I'll take the Steelers plus 14.
Yeah, I don't hate Steelers plus 14. The reason I was talking about the over as well is I could definitely see that game being like a 21-14 type of game going, maybe third quarter 21-14, and then the Bills kind of start to pull away a little bit. That's what I would worry about with taking Steelers plus 14 is you just don't want the game to get away from them too much. Like, I could see this being a close game toward the end. Pickett throws an interception, and then all of a sudden the Bills score, and it's a 17-point game. And the over hits, but that 14 doesn't. This is probably a game I'll stay away from just because it's hard. 14 points in the NFL is a lot, man. That's a lot of points in a league that is so tight in terms of, even the best teams have days where they just don't play up to their standard. 14's a lot, but I would almost be more tempted to take the over. But again, if Buffalo shows up and they just kind of sleepwalk through the first half like they did against Baltimore, this 14 looks good. It really does. Yeah. Bears Vikings. I like Minnesota in this game. They're obviously going to win the game, in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to be particularly close to who wins it. I think that Chicago plays so slowly. Dalvin Cook's not 100%. Kevin O'Connell is Mr. Field Goal. It feels like it could end up being a closer game than it should, but I still like Minnesota in this game.
Yeah, I love Minnesota -7. Don't even think about looking back. This I don't see a world where this is really even close.
Yeah.
If you can always spread that 9.5, I would. An absolute domination. Yeah, I don't understand 7 points, but
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty small spread comparatively to what Chicago's been so far this year, especially playing on the road in Minnesota. It's kind of surprising the spread is so small. I think I just am a little hurt by Minnesota because I took them -3.5 last week, and they easily should have covered that, and they did not. So I'm a little hurt, but we'll get through that. Houston or Jacksonville? I like Jacksonville -7. Houston can't stop a nosebleed. Jacksonville is going to smother Davis Mills. I don't see a universe in which Houston is ultra competitive. Now I will say this: Miles Sanders had a very, very good game last week against Jacksonville. Dameon Pierce is going to be able to run the football, so the Texans may be able to keep it close for a little while. But toward the end of the game, when they have to start throwing the ball to keep up or to continue to maybe claw their way back, I think Davis Mills is going to make a lot of mistakes. He's going to get sacked quite a bit. I like Jacksonville -7.
yeah, this is crazy. I mean, when was the last time the Jags were touchdown favorites?
That's a lot, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would. I'm probably with you. I just think, it seems like, the Jags, they're clearly 7-point favorites. They should win by 7. Something in me just tells me that I think this game might be close. I don't know why. The Jags have been a great story, and last week it was a bunch of fumbles and turnovers. That's why drive stopped. And you watch the Texans, and you don't really think much of them. But that's where Vegas gets you. That's where the Texans have a 24-17 lead, and Trevor Lawrence is fighting for his life in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and
So
there's every possibility of that.
Yeah, I would honestly move towards the over. I think I think at least Jacksonville will be able to score. And
whatever Jacksonville's implied team total is, that's what I would take. Genuinely, if it's like 21 or 24, I would probably take that.
Right, because obviously they had trouble, stopping around last week, and Dameon Pierce is a very explosive back as well. And if you give them easy yards, easy explosive plays, they'll probably be able to score. So I would probably think of an over here maybe.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville's over for sure because Houston can't stop anybody. And if Trevor Lawrence plays half of how he's played so far this year, James Robinson's going to be getting a good workload against Houston as well. I don't see a universe in where Houston stops him. I don't know what the team total is for Jacksonville. I would guess it's 24, 20, maybe 27. 27 I'd be a little hesitant on. 24, 21 I really like. So I would consider that. Miami and the Jets. This feels like a good spot to take the Jets because they're coming off of a big win. They got their quarterback back. Miami just lost theirs. Everything feels like it would point for you to take the Jets. That's why I would lean towards Miami. I might put this down to 2.5. I might alt spread to 2.5, teaser to 2.5, whatever you got to do. But I think Miami still wins this game. I think Zach Wilson still has a lot of problems mechanically. I think he has a lot of problems mentally in terms of making smart decisions on the football field. And there's definitely a universe out there somewhere that the Jets win this football game, and I don't even think it's that far fetched that they could win this game. But I do like Miami to win it. I like them to win it by 2.5, a lot more than I like them to win it by 3.5. But I think Miami covers the spread. I think that they do.
Yeah, I think they cover the spread as well. And obviously, like you said, Zach Wilson with his turnover issues and his never say die attitude. Yeah. You turn the ball over like that against Miami, they will make you pay on the offensive end. Have all the weapons in the world. One of the better offensive minds in the sport right now. Mm-hmm. I really do like that 3.5. I don't really see this being that close.
Yeah.
Per se, I think the Dolphins will be able to pressure Zach Wilson. They send a lot of blitzes. They are very creative with those, at least. And I think that will kind of mess him up a little bit. And you'll get some sacks, you'll get some turnovers. And I like the Dolphins kind of win this game in double digits, actually.
Yeah. Falcons Bucks. This is a game I'm probably going to stay very far away from. I have no interest in anything to do with this game at all. I don't want to watch this game. There's no part of me that is interested in this game. If I had to take something, if gun to my head, somebody's making me take something, whatever the Falcons team total is, 17, 21, somewhere around there, I'm taking the under. I don't think the Falcons are going to score a lot. I think Tampa Bay is going to have them in a tough spot offensively. I think Tampa Bay is going to run the ball a good bit. They didn't run it last week. I think they're going to establish the run again this week with Fournette, with Rashad White. Um, I think Tampa Bay is going to just try to control this game after a tough loss last week that seemed really back and forth. I think this is a perfect let's slow it down Todd Bowles game. You know what I mean? Like, let's slow it down, boys. Let's play under control. Let's keep the lead. Let's be careful with the football. Feels like a slow Todd Bowles game. I don't hate the under, though I do worry about just a Tampa Bay just offensive explosion, but I don't worry about a Falcons offensive explosion at all. I like Tampa Bay. I don't know if I like the -8.5, but I do like them to slow the game down. I like the under.
Yeah, I'm just, I guess, a little worried about that Tampa Bay front, and I know the Falcons will definitely try to hammer away.
They're going to run the
And
ball.
they're running it. Yeah, they're gonna kind of spread you out. They're gonna put you in conflict. They're gonna have Mariota hit, the replays and the powers and all whatnot. I'm a little worried about that, but I am, leaning towards that under because I do agree with you. At some point, the Bucks defensively they have to kind of bow up and they have to play to their name, and I think that this will be a slower game um, than they played, last week. Of course,
Yeah.
this will probably be a Todd Bowles special. They will run the ball 35 times and throw 25, and they'll probably win the game 20-10. So,
Yeah.
let's go under.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Detroit and New England. This game feels like a trap. It feels like everybody wants you to take Detroit because Detroit is the most fun team in the league. They are a fantasy carnival where teams score against them, they score against teams. It's just fun, right? It's fun NFL football. The Patriots are the opposite of that. The Patriots are the least fun team in the league to watch, right? I like the Patriots -3. I don't see a universe in which Detroit stops them from running the football. I don't think Bailey Zappi's gonna have to do anything if Mac Jones can't go. If Mac Jones can't go, I think Detroit is more of an appealing option. But I don't think the Lions are gonna stop Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris from just running crazy on them. I think both of those guys could actually get 100 yards. I just don't see a universe in where they stop them. And if you can't stop New England running the ball, they're gonna win the game. Bill's gonna have something on defense ready for Detroit. I think he will. So I like New England -3. I think it's in my opinion, it's one of my safest bets of the week.
Yeah, I agree. We saw last year when New England played Buffalo in that crazy weather game in Buffalo. They will, if you cannot stop the run, they will keep pounding and pounding and pounding, and they may end up running the ball 55 times and throwing 10.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think the Lions they have really any identity on defense to stop the run right now. And I know Bill, he will find something. He will find a couple runs that he likes, a couple looks that he likes, and they will exploit it all game long. Yep. So I am with you. New England -3. That seems very safe.
Put all your money on that one. That's the lock of the week to me. Next one again. This if that wasn't my lock of the week, this one is, and then the next one after this one, because these two games are spreads that should not be this small. Tennessee on the road against Washington. Unless there's some kind of hurricane hitting Washington that I don't know about, where the weather is going to be terrible, I don't see a universe in which Tennessee only wins this game by 2 points. I don't see it. I think Tennessee handily beats Washington. I know Tennessee's defense is not very good. I would take Tennessee -2.5. I would also kind of be tempted to sprinkle a little money on the over as well, because I do think Washington will be able to score a little bit, because Tennessee's defense is not very good. But I just don't see how Washington is going to stop Tennessee from moving the football.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The only way that Tennessee is, they get stopped is by basically stopping themselves, and they, if they're not aggressive with the play action passing game early, and if they can't really run the ball, it's kind of it gets muddied up a little bit. Then you may go and fall into some trouble. But I even if that does happen, I don't think Tennessee's defense is that bad to where they just let Wentz kind of rip them apart.
Right.
So I would still be considering Tennessee -2.5. In fact, that would be my pick. Tennessee -2.5 this week. Yeah. I don't really see Washington really. I don't see them really scoring either. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, again, I I just think the way that Tennessee has shown in the past couple of weeks, they're interested in getting Derrick Henry the football in creative ways over the past 2 weeks of throwing him the ball out in the flat. Um, if you do that against Washington, Derrick Henry is going to have a crazy good game because Washington is not a very good tackling team and their secondary is not very good. If you can get Derrick Henry one-on-one with a corner, if you can get him one-on-one with the safety, it is not going to end well for Washington. And their front seven is not bad. Their defensive line is very good. They are well documented how good they are. It is not going to be a wadded up and run the ball up the middle type of game for Tennessee. If it is, then they're going to be in trouble. To me, this feels like an outside zone. They like to run that toss with Henry some. It feels like that kind of game, and throwing the ball to Henry in the flat, getting him involved in the passing game, getting him involved in that outside zone run game where he can cut and kind of maneuver his way through the second level into the third level of the defense. Again, I don't know how Washington stops that if Tennessee chooses to do it. Now Mike Vrabel is a son of a bitch. All right, so I don't know what he's gonna do, but just get it to Henry outside of the tackles, please. Don't make him run up into Deron Payne and John Allen every snap because it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, what's weird is I had more faith in Tennessee winning last week against the Colts, a very familiar opponent.
Yeah,
I don't know. This game is just I think it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be kind of muddied up, like you said. They are going to wad everyone up, and there's going to be 8-man boxes. We know it's gonna happen. and honestly, if you can find a first half under, that may be your best bet.
That might be, yeah. Unless it's like 10, could be 10. Chargers Browns. This is another spread that feels like a trap. There's no universe the Chargers should not win this game by 3 points. They should win this game by 3 points. Now, here's the caveat: the Chargers can't stop the run. Last week, Dameon Pierce ripped them apart, right? With a Texans offensive line that is not nearly as good as Cleveland's. Cleveland is going to be able to move the football. They're going to run the football a lot. But if Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense can't beat the Browns by more than 3 points, they have bigger issues this season than they thought. This should be a comfortable win for the Chargers.
I like the Browns +3.
Ooh.
For a lot of the reasons that all to lean on that defensive line.
Yep.
And they are going to run the ball all day long.
They are.
I think defensively, and I think the Browns can compete defensively as well. Last week against Mariota, they didn't really allow a lot of passing guys. He had 7 completions, and so the Chargers' identity isn't just to hand the ball off, and plow that way. They want to throw the ball. Now they want to throw the ball short, but they still want to drop back and throw the football. And I think the Browns can compete on that defensive level, and if they can get that run game going, and then find Jacoby Brissett, and if he can find Mark Cooper downfield for once or twice in that game, create some explosives. I think there's a universe where the Browns actually shock the world and they win, 23-20 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I was definitely going to say, and if you're one of these types of people, which I'm not, who likes to hedge bets, right? I like the Chargers -3 because I think if they win this game, they are going to win this game by 7 to 10 to 14 points. If they lose this game, or if they don't win this game by that margin, they're losing. If this is like around a 3-point game, they're losing the game, in my opinion. If it's that close at the end of the game, I don't think they win. I think Cleveland wins. So I would, if you're one of those people who likes to hedge your bets, then I'm cool with you taking like one parlay Chargers -3 and then another parlay Browns money line, because I do tend to think there's definitely a universe where the Chargers win by 14 points. That's what I think the universe we're living in is. But there's also a universe where the Browns win the game outright, and I don't know which way I would lean, but I think I lean more toward the Chargers winning by more than 3 points. That's just how I feel right now. San Francisco, Carolina. Whatever Carolina's team total is, take the under. Because they are going to be in a familiar place. It's hell. They're in hell this week. They're in hell this week. It takes a lot for me to not say San Francisco -6.5. There's a lot of big spreads this week, and I feel like I'm telling you everybody to take the big spread, like -7, take it, fuck it. -7, that's it. This one feels like, of all the big spreads this week, this one feels the most safe, which makes me feel like it's a trap.
Yeah, I think you push that button that says -6.5 for the Niners, and you just don't look back.
Yeah.
I don't see a world where the Panthers score over 10-ish, you know, and
Yeah.
I think the Niners, they're, Jimmy G said his arm felt a lot better on Monday night. I think he will continue to feel a lot better, obviously having surgery and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think they're going to kind of start rolling now into that kind of NFC contender that that they are. And I just see them rolling into Carolina and just beating down the Panthers.
Yeah, I definitely could see that too. I absolutely can see that. Philadelphia and Arizona. This is a similar vibe to me. Um, there's every possibility that Arizona could go out there and shock the world, but that's exactly what it would be. It would be a shock if they were to beat the Eagles this week. Arizona's offense is just not consistently good enough to scare me against the Eagles defense that has consistently been pretty good all year. And the Eagles offense has been good all year. Arizona's defense has not been great. I hit again like you just said about San Francisco. I hit 5.5 and I don't look back. I'm taking Philly -5.5 and I'm not even really thinking twice about it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. Either that or I like under 48.5 as well. When the
Yeah.
Cardinals, when they do the offense, they aren't trying to push the ball downfield. It's a lot of short passes, screens, runs. And I think the Eagles, have the best offensive line in the league. They will also lean on the run game. So I think you may see a running clock at some point in this game. I I like the Eagles as well, but I love that under 48.5.
Yeah. Dallas and LA. So this is a weird one for me because I like Dallas's defense this year so far. I think that they've done a lot of interesting things. I think Dan Quinn is going to look at that film from the Monday night game and he's going to salivate over that film. Uh, Now, granted, Dallas's offense is extremely limited. Dak Prescott, if he comes back, Jerry Jones said he's still having trouble holding the football, or whoever said it, Mike McCarthy, Jerry, who knows. But there's a report out there that Dak is still having trouble like gripping the football. If Dak comes back to play this week, I'm hesitant on Dallas. I almost feel more obliged to take the under, though it is a pretty small under. 43.5 is pretty low. Um, I have a tough time taking Dallas +4.5 because I think talent wins out, and I think the Rams are the more talented team. Uh, but I would say I tentatively take the under, and I would tentatively, if Dak plays and he is at his normal self, kind of like Dallas +4.5.
Yeah, Dak, Cooper Rush. I think the Cowboys win this game outright.
I think they
Honestly,
might too. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think they really could win that game outright.
yeah, I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing from the Rams.
No.
Really, any week I don't think they've really played. The Falcons. Obviously, they put up some good numbers there, but it's the Falcons. That they
Right.
played the Cardinals and didn't really do too much. They got whooped by the Bills and then the Niners game and Dallas. I think Dallas Niners probably two of the top defenses in the league.
Yeah.
I think they struggle. I as long as Cooper Rush doesn't really throw the game away, which I don't think he will. I think he's very trustworthy. I
Mm-hmm.
think they have three good weapons out there. I think Dallas is. What's weird to say, I think even with Cooper Rush, I think they are the better team right now. And you can take the +4.5. That's fine, but I would take that +180. I think they're going to win the game outright.
Yeah, I think there's a good possibility of that. It does kind of worry me that they're on the road a little. Not that it's a huge deal in my opinion, one way or the other.
They're going
but,
to be at home because they're going to have.
Well, yeah, in LA, I mean, there's more Dallas fans than Rams fans for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like Dallas. Like for all the reasons you said, I think LA, especially that offensive line. That offensive line has been in shambles, and
Yep.
Dallas's pass rush is going to get home. They're going to find creative ways to get Micah Parsons involved in the pass rush. Yeah, I like Dallas. I kind of like him outright too. I like the +4.5 also. Bengals Ravens. Give me. This is tough because I want to say Baltimore and I want to not even really think about it, but I feel like I need to think about it because man, I don't know how Baltimore's secondary, are they healthy again? Are they okay? I know Peters is playing. Humphrey
Yeah, I mean,
Humphrey
they're
played
out.
last week. Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
they're out there.
I'll take Baltimore. Give me Baltimore -3 in this one. I like Baltimore. I think their secondary is good enough to handle Jamar Chase and T Higgins a little bit. I think their offense is solid. I think the Bengals' offensive line is still not good. They are gelling a little bit better than they have previously, but I still don't love them. I think the Ravens are going to have opportunities to get to the quarterback, put pressure in Burrow's face. This is a tough. This is probably the toughest one of the week for me. But I think I like Baltimore -3. I think I'm comfortable with Baltimore this week.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games of the week. I'm in a win-win scenario here. I'm our fan, like not a Burrow fan.
Narrative versus narrative match.
Exactly. So my feet are kicked up, and whoever loses, I can just ride and just kind of trash.
Yep.
Although, from an analysis, standpoint, the Ravens are a very aggressive defense that had a lot of busts against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think they'll learn from that though.
Do too, but
and their secondary wasn't fully healthy either.
Right, they were healthy last year when they played them, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, but that was Stink Martindale, dude. That's a different guy. Stink Martindale out there.
And now they have Mike McDonald, who blew a 16-point lead to Peyton Thorne last season. So he might be even worse. I'm going to off topic here. Why in the world do the Harbaugh brothers just trade defensive coordinators? It's the weirdest thing in sports. Because the guy that Michigan has this year, he was with the Ravens last year, and obviously Mike McDonald, whatever, he was with Michigan last year. Now he's the DC of it. It's just a weird thing that they're doing.
They're just a strange family.
Yeah, they are very strange. But anyway, they run a lot of the same stuff. They're very aggressive. They walk a lot of guys up, and I think if you're going to leave single coverage, you're going to see a lot of grease in the end zone. Give me the Bengals game outright. Fuck those 3 points.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I think I'm just trusting Baltimore's defense a little bit, hoping that the issues that they had against Miami that they've sorted out, and maybe they, again, tough divisional matchup at home in Baltimore. I feel like if you're going to beat the Bengals, this is the time you have to beat them. They're not at their peak yet. They're not hitting their stride just yet. And early season on the road, you need to, or at home, I should say, for Baltimore, you need to win this game. So I think Baltimore wins it. Chiefs Raiders. Again, this is kind of a multiverse matchup for me because there's definitely two universes in this game that I can see coming to fruition. Number one is that the Raiders historically play the Chiefs like it's their Super Bowl, right? And we have seen the Raiders pull off some crazy wins against Kansas City teams that they never should have beat, right? Now, I don't necessarily think they're going to win this game. I don't really see a universe that they win. They could, but I don't see it. I do see a universe in where they keep it close for a little while. I just don't know how long. Kansas City, the thing that worries me about them is I think the Raiders' defense is not terrible. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily good, but I wouldn't say that they're that bad either. And Kansas City, their lack of stars on offense, bar Kelsey, bar Mahomes, right? Their lack of star power, their lack of like big playmaking ability concerns me for them to like just blow the Raiders out. In a divisional matchup, it's not the same as the Tampa Bay game. Like obviously they covered this spread against Tampa Bay. So your natural instinct is, if they beat Tampa by 10, they'll beat the Raiders by 8. I just don't know, man. I don't know. I think I would like the spread a whole lot more if it was at 6.5. I would like it even better if it was at like 3. I almost like the under as well a little bit because I don't know that the Raiders are going to score that much either. So maybe the under works for me. If not, then give me Kansas City. I guess you're not going to have near as much trouble with this one as I have.
Yeah, I mean, so when they played Gus Bradley's defense last year, when he was with the Raiders and all that single eye stuff, and all those stats I read off a couple weeks ago when they played the Colts, they ripped them apart.
Yep.
When they played Patrick Graham's defense last year with the Giants, funneled everything underneath, all that type stuff. They struggled big time, and they were in a dogfight with the Giants, up until late in that game. So I'm not comfortable taking that 7.5 at all. I think he's gonna play a lot of that same style of defense, that umbrella coverage, force them to go on long drives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference is the Kansas City offensive line and the running game is better than last year. They
Yeah.
are in more, they're in some heavier sets, which, obviously is going to drop a safety down the box. And if you want to leave it up high, then they're just going to hand the ball off and, tee away for 4 or 5 yards to carry. So that could be, kind of a plus that they didn't have last year. But I'm with you. I'm kind of feeling an under in this
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yeah,
I just
I think the only universe that the under isn't necessarily the play is a game script where Vegas struggles to run the ball because the Chiefs' run defense has been solid this year for sure. I think if Vegas struggles to establish that run with Jacobs like they probably will want to this week, it could create an issue of getting behind early and needing to chase. And if they need to chase, it feels like there's a potential for the game to get a little bit out of hand in terms of the scoring. Not necessarily on Vegas's end, but on Kansas City's end. Uh,
yeah,
that there's a possibility that Kansas City could just kind of walk away with this one. But I agree with you that the type of coverage that we expect the Raiders to play this game, the way that Vegas wants to establish the run, I would assume with Josh Jacobs in a game that is probably, in a way their Super Bowl. At least right now, this early in the season where they're 1-3, like you need to win this game to stay within shouting distance of the division. Yeah, I mean I like an under here. I think it's an ultra competitive game for a little while, and I think the under probably will hit.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I think if the over does hit, then it's probably the Raiders. They might be pulling off something.
Yeah. There's a possibility of that too. If the over hits, I think the Raiders might be you know, coming up with something magnificent for sure. All right. Well, that's our picks for week 4, right? Week 4, week 5. Is it week 5? Week 5 already, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, week 5. Man, crazy. We're like zooming through the season, man. It's crazy. Well, that's our picks for week 5. Again, some of them we feel pretty locked in on. Some of them maybe a little hesitant, but we're going to give you a pick for every single game. Let you guys make your own decisions, give you some insight, give you some analysis on what we think is going to happen. Just, again, not Stephen A. Smith analysis, like analysis from people who actually watch football games. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Obviously, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all that shit, YouTube shit down below. We are going to be back on this channel. We have a DFS first look video coming out. I'm going to walk you through DraftKings lineup for this week, what I like, based off of this slate of games. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around the channel. And all that being said, we'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to go on forth.